Our Monday panel of political strategists Grahame Morris and Bruce Hawker. Welcome to you both. Now, Grahame, you've heard the to and fro on this today. How do you think the PM performed and where does it leave things?
I reckon the PM got the tone all wrong. You know, if she was fair income, there ought to be some contrition there. You know, we're actually saying that a 35-year-old lawyer, you know, at best was sort of naive, unlucky or stupid.
Well, she's not saying that.
No, I'm saying that. That you know, all of those sort of things, instead of coming into the press conference today and being, I can answer questions from a few journalists, it should have been, look, I really am sorry for that episode in my life. I'm sorry I had a boyfriend named Bruce. I'm sorry I ever hang around with a bloke named Blewett. I'm sorry I was ever tied up with this sort of gunk. And that would have almost killed it, some sort of contrition and regret. Instead of that, we've got this, I'm all right, just let's play word games. There's no doubt. And she's setting up this sort of, this association which became a slush fund, and she's saying it was normal practice.
But hang on,
not my
You
world.
should only show contrition if you've done something wrong, right? What's she done wrong?
Well, look, without her, there would not have been this association, there would not have been this slush fund, we wouldn't have had all this drama.
But that's like saying, you know, if someone didn't provide advice on building a building that was then used for something else, you know, I mean, how far do you draw the link?
No, I don't buy that. And even if that were right, even if she's 100% in the clear, why wouldn't you say, I really regret having any involvement in this at all? You know, I just do not understand this sort of tone of voice which says, you know, everyone was doing it. And that's what she said today. It was common practice. Well, not in my world.
These re-election funds, not a fraudulent slush fund. She said that...
No, well, these re-election funds
are common practice. Bruce, are they common practice, and do you think there should have been some contrition from the PM?
Look, I thought she set exactly the right tone today, and I think she was answering the questions that the public and the media certainly wanted to have answered. And I think she went through it in a very forensic way, David. I don't think today was a time for tears and for regretting relationships that went wrong, although she did in fact concede that, you know, that was a mistake in her life. It was more an opportunity to set the record straight on a lot of misconceptions that have been put around by some members of the media and certainly by the opposition. I think she performed very strongly.
But Bruce, notwithstanding that, looking at this through the cold, hard political reality, has it damaged the PM and will it end here?
Well, I think the worst thing that it's doing now is acting as a distraction for the government. So rather than being able to spend the day talking about Gonski and about national disability insurance schemes, we're talking about this. Is it going to bring down the Prime Minister? No. Is this going to be the end of it? I don't think so. I think that Julie Bishop and others will continue to push the issue. But as we saw today, she was a million miles from whether Julia Gillard was receiving any benefit from from ill-gotten gains. It was all about technical questions as to whether she filled out forms correctly and so forth. It was nothing to do with the real question, and that was whether there was any mixing of funds here, personally and with the AWU funds. That's what the issue comes down to, and there was no evidence put forward at all to suggest anything of that nature.
Grahame, is there a danger for the opposition pushing too hard on this in the final week of Parliament, that it may look like it's only interested in, you know, the matters that are irrelevant to the nation's future?
Look, I don't think so, David. I think there's still another week or so in this and probably quite a few more headlines. You know, this is a period, a couple of years before our Prime Minister entered the Parliament, she was involved in this stuff. Now, it may well have been she was unlucky or naive or something, but it was a period that ended up being sleazy. And you think, which part of sleazy doesn't the Prime Minister understand? And, you know, she's apologised. She said sorry for everything else that's happened around the world in the last 3 or 4 years. Why not sorry for her own actions on this?
I just want to also bring in Peter Lewis from Essential Media Communications for a quick look at the poll he's got out this afternoon. Peter, thanks for joining us. Just tell us the primary vote first of all and the two-party vote. What have you got this week?
Not much of a change, David. The Labor Party primary vote is stable at 36. Coalition up a couple of percentage points, tips them up from 46 to 47, but the two-party preferred is unchanged at 53-47.
The most interesting thing, though, I reckon, is what you found on some three key issues of government policy reform.
Yeah, and look, these are all contested issues. The first is the NBN, 69% support, 20% opposed, so very popular. Strong support still for the Minerals Resources Rent Tax, 63-22 opposition. And the carbon price, the first time we've actually had more people saying they support than oppose, 46 to 44. Now, just a month ago, that was at 38-48. So that's a 12-point turnaround in just over a month.
Yeah, Peter Lewis, thanks for that. Now, Grahame Morris, I just wanted to get your thoughts on this. That final figure, I think, is quite interesting. For the first time, more people are supporting the carbon price than opposing it. And, of course, the government says this is why the opposition's now pushing this whole slush fund story, because the carbon tax issue's gone off the boil. Has it?
Yeah, it has. But we always knew it would. You know, there's no issue in the world that's run for 3 years, but this one ran for a long time. There was genuine concern. There's still people very worried about their electricity bills, and that will keep going right to the election time. But that sort of real burning heat has gone out of it. We expected that.
And Bruce, just in 30 seconds, what do you make of that finding?
I think it's bad news for Tony Abbott. All the things he's been pushing hard are going south for him. His personal vote's going south. The opposition's vote's going south. And I think if I was him, I'd be looking over my shoulder and wondering who it is who's going to be coming down the line in the next few months to say, I want to be the next opposition leader, because we're not going to lose this election to the Labor government. And that's a real prospect now.
Which bit of the 36% Labor vote do you like, Bruce?
Well, I think 49-51, after they were languishing around about 41 or 42 a few months ago, is the number you should be looking at. Everyone should be looking at that, and I can tell you this, Tony Abbott is, and I think this is a dangerous time for him.
Well, it's going to make for a very interesting election year next year. We're out of time for today's show. We'll catch up with both of you next week, Grahame. Bruce, thanks for joining us. Thanks for your company as well. Stay with us after the break, the very latest Sky News.